So as part of the complete meal we're making today, which is the Guinness beef stew, I'm going to make some dumplings. So I'll share how I make those now. I'll post them as a separate video as well, in case you want to put them with another dish. So here we go. So if we're making 12 good sized dumplings, what you're going to need is 300 grams of self-raising flour with about a teaspoon of salt in there, and 140 grams of suet mix. So this is your fat content to go into your dumplings. If you don't want to use beef suet as we're using today, because it's going in a beef dish, you can use vegetable suet. It does the job exactly the same. And all we're going to do is mix those around. So a little bit at a time, we're just going to add some cold water into there. Two things when you're making this. It's very much like making a scone mix. If you've made my recipe on here, you'll know exactly what I mean. It comes together quite quickly. So you don't want to chuck all your water in, because what you might find is it's too wet. And this should be slightly sticky but not wet when it comes to the end of it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get our hands in there now. It's get all that flour off the side and keep adding a little bit at a time. The second thing that's really important when you're making things like dumplings is not to overwork your mixture, because they will be heavy and you really don't want heavy dumplings. They're not very nice. So just keep adding a little bit at a time. Now every time you make dumplings or anything where you're using flour, I guess, unless it's a cake recipe, then it's going to use a different amount of water every time. All flour is different. As you see, that is very roughly put together. So all we're going to do is flour that surface just a little bit. Depends what kind of work surface you're working on, and just make sure it's fully together. So we're just going to give it a little knead. But that is as much. It doesn't matter if you've got little bits falling off, it probably means you've worked it the right amount. And there you go. That is your dumpling dough. So we're just going to pop that back in the bowl a second and clean up. Okay, so a good tip for portioning your dumpling mix is to weigh it. So that weighs, what, 606 grams? That's about 50 grams per dumpling. So nice easy maths, nice easy to work out. So all we're going to do is, first of all, just get that on your parchment, keep it nice and clean, and we're just going to make sure that's on 0, and we're going to grab 50 grams of dumpling. There you go. And then all you're going to do is roll that into a bowl. Now at this point, if you were making parsley dumplings or cheese dumplings, all you would have is some parchment or on your surface, put your cheese on there, and each individual dumpling you would just roll in the cheese. Get it in there, you can fold it over into it and then roll it in. Try not to work it too much. So what we're going to do with these is just portion out. Again, we're looking for 50 grams. Yep. And carry on with those until you've made 12. So there we have 12 evenly sized dumplings ready to go into our Guinness beef stew. The cooking temperature for these is 180 for around 20 minutes. These are going to go in the fridge, so you can make these before, leave them in the fridge. Just be sure to make, if you are putting these in the fridge, just to be sure to take them out about 20 minutes before you use them, just so they get a bit of temperature in them. If you put them in cold straight from the fridge, you're going to need to leave them in there a bit longer. It'll adjust your cooking time. So as you can see, the dumplings have pretty much doubled in size and they are now ready to serve.